Hello, everyone. This is Jorge Diaz, president and founder of Larry Jacob Internet Marketing, and I'm bringing you another episode of Defining Infusionsoft Success. This week, I have Justin Ferriman. He's one of the founders, or are you the founder of LearnDash?
Co-founder.
Okay, so co-founder. He's one of the guys that started that, and us being membership site builders, this is a tool that we run into and work a lot with, so I thought it'd be great after I met him at Traffic and Conversion back in San Diego, that it'd be a great time for us to chat. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks, George. How are you?
Good. So, Justin, just so people get to know a little bit, how LearnDash's been out, about 3 years now?
We launched in January 2013.
Okay, so it's been a while. I know that we've been using it at least 2 years, and it's recently that we're getting more and more requests. And like I was telling you earlier, we build a lot of Memberium sites, but oftentimes people come up and say, hey, do you do Memberium LearnDash sites? And it's almost like it's one and the same product, which, I think it's a testament to you guys and the way you guys have promoted yourselves to the Infusionsoft audience.
Yeah, thank you. I think also a lot of that comes from the folks at Memberium. Micah Mitchell and his crew over there have always been proponents of LearnDash, and so they kind of helped educate people on what it is in the Infusionsoft space. And naturally, we'll have people that will write us that are in Infusionsoft, and we're happy to talk to them about what we're doing. So I think there's a lot of different touch points that people are getting introduced to LearnDash from Infusionsoft.
Cool. So how does one jump into this learning management space? How did you guys start off in this?
Actually, before I was doing LearnDash, I was a consultant for Fortune 500 companies, setting up their learning programs, setting up their learning management systems, creating courses. And so that was always my world. As a consultant, I was in hotels all the time, and I remember thinking, this is fine for now, but I'm kind of getting burnt out already. And I started thinking about ways to transition my career. I was on a project, and we were trying to determine which learning management system to use, and the concept of an open source LMS came up, so the code base being available. And Moodle is a popular one, and there's some others. But, I was thinking to myself, WordPress, I know that's open source. And I kind of dabbled in WordPress at the time. It was more of a hobby. I used to set up sites for family and sometimes friends.
Sure.
And so I went and did some research, and there was nothing out there. So I started thinking about it. It's kind of a cool idea. So I set up a blog and just started writing about it and writing about e-learning, which I love. And over time, there was a lot of interest. Put an email sign-up form on the site. People were saying, oh, sure, I want to know when this is available. So I talked to my wife, who is my co-founder, and we said,
I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. She's great. We work on this every day. So, we were talking. We're like, hey, we should definitely do this. And I started doing some market research. And that was in 2012. So March 2012, that whole process started.
So about 5 years ago.
Yeah, really, that's crazy. So then, after the market research and getting it built and getting kind of a minimal viable product, we did our launch in January that following year. And then about April of 2013 is when I left my consulting career. And, here I am today, 5 years later.
Oh, good for you. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And, okay, so you start this thing, and, we're starting to see it, like I was telling you before, we were building learning sites, and again, I'm not a learning specialist. We build, we're dabbling in 3 to 4 membership sites a month at a minimum, and a lot of them are learning systems. We're builders. My background's computer science. I've run IT departments, and I've been doing web development for longer than a lot of people have even been around. And so, when I first saw LearnDash, I go, well, the Memberium guys are promoting it or talking about the integration. It must be important. But I think I failed to really understand, the intricacies of learning in general. And now that I know more about you, I understand, okay, you guys are thinking less about a system and more about how do people learn best.
True. Yeah, it's kind of twofold. We have the system, but the system needs to be conducive to how people learn online, which in many ways can be different than how we learn in a classroom. In fact, it can be very different.
Sure.
taking kind of the best of e-learning, what the trends are, what the instructional design trends are, and picking and choosing from those and making them available in our software so that people that are using LearnDash can create learning programs that are not just fun for the learner, but are effective. So people are actually walking away learning something. So that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, and again, LearnDash, I know, makes it easy to structure your courses, do quizzing. I mean, it's really good for quizzing in that you can put a quiz, and then until someone passes, they're not allowed into the next level. I know that, do you guys have, there's gamification built into LearnDash, right?
Yeah, there's multiple different items of gamification. We have points and badges and leaderboards. Those are pretty standard. And we recently put in I think for lack of a better word, a course currency, I should say. It's kind of point driven, but what it essentially does is you earn points. You can unlock other courses to take based on kind of your progression and your learning path. So there's some gamification elements for sure. Cool.
As a matter of fact, I'm learning stuff. I mean, I'm now heading up the business, and my team is really up on some of these details. But the fact that the tool is getting more and more. I know that those weren't features that were there about a year ago, right?
No, they were just implemented not too long ago, actually. The course currency thing I was mentioning. Badges we've had for a decent amount of time, but those are always evolving too with how they're delivered or what can earn a badge. So
right.
That is evolving for sure.
Well, I tell you what, the course currency, now that struck a nerve with me because we have something like that's being requested by one of our customers. I didn't realize that was in there already. So cool.
Yeah. It's called points, like course points, but you can change that to anything. But it does act like that currency to unlock different levels.
Right. So if you do this, and that, you get some points, and that's what opens up instead of clicking on a quiz or a mark complete button.
Yeah. True. Yep.
Nice. Okay. So earlier we were talking about integrations with something like a buddy press. And
yes.
Having learning tribes, which more and more, I want to say over the years, we were building a lot of Memberium sites that also had a forum feature. But it's interesting, they were related, but it almost didn't seem intimately connected. It was like, oh, and we have a forum, or and we send them over to a Facebook group. And that seems to be something common. But, with Buddy Press, and I know you guys now have the Social Learner. And I mean, it's on their site, Social Learner with LearnDash. I think that really takes it to the next level, right?
Yeah, it does. Social Learner, that's the Buddy Boss program. It's Social Learner for LearnDash. It doesn't come with LearnDash, but it's built to work with our software really nicely, and they make it look fantastic. That's just the direction that the space is going. I think your point about the forums and having courses and those seeming separate, that's because they were very much two different places that somebody had to go. And actually this we saw in corporate training. In corporate training, you have the difficulty of getting employees or personnel to take the training and go through it, and it can be boring and just lack a little life. It seems like a task to do.
Right.
And I think people, now that we spend so much time online on our phones or tablets or computers or whatever, this is kind of our social hangout. So courses are starting to mimic that and create communities. And they're very encouraging to see other people taking courses that you're taking, earning badges, and maybe you can see your peers, you can congratulate them, and it kind of keeps that learning momentum going. And I think that's a good thing for everybody that makes courses online.
Well, right, and you're pulling. It's interesting. In Infusionsoft, they have the green room, they call it, and it is set up to get us partners to get more engaged in the next release and in things. And it was interesting when I saw that I'm in like the top 10 on the leaderboard, which kind of surprised me because I was just participating in it. And it's like, hold on a second, I'm actually top 10? Go figure, how did that happen? And it's almost like I reverse engineer what I had done. And it's like, man, I guess I'm participating more actively than a lot of other people.
And now you're probably more motivated to participate.
Yeah, and especially if you're one of those that's like a real competitive type. That's a huge motivator. It's not a real driver for me, but I know different people that just is like, hold on a second. If I do one more thing, I'll like edge out this person, and and if you can use that to get people to do, like partner training so that you can be a more effective partner, or you know, humdrum, read the latest update of your own product, you know, which in the past was like, hey guys, is everybody up on the latest release? And everybody's like, yeah, kind of. Now it's like, you know, I'm at the top of the leaderboard. Yes, I'm up on it. So it's an interesting in a way to change things. So let me know. So what's coming next? You know, what are the trends that you're seeing that you know, anybody in this LMS space ought to be thinking about?
There's a lot of trends. I think I've mentioned on a few times or occasions this year, the industry is now moving towards micro learning, so micro content, and this is a lot to do with how we learn online, which is funny because it's a lot to do with our short attention spans. Yeah. And if you think about, you know, if you're at the airport, for example, and your plane's delayed, you may open up your phone and look at a video on YouTube or whatever. And a lot of times we're not looking at 20-minute videos. Unfortunately, a lot of online courses do use 20-minute videos. So this concept is, you know, it's not revolutionary by any means, but it's, you know, just like gamification, we knew about leaderboards for a long time, even before e-learning. And now, you know, then they started picking up. We're going to see that with micro learning, micro content, short little videos that are 2 minutes long, courses that aren't, courses that are split up to less lessons, but more courses to help people feel that sense of momentum as they go. So instead of maybe one big learning program, maybe you splice it up into, you know, 4, and then you have some lessons underneath that and maybe some topics there, but everything is easily digestible. And you can either watch a video, mark it complete, go to the next one, look at an infographic, you know, it's complete, go to the next thing, upload maybe a quick assignment, you're done. 5-question quiz, boom. And you keep going. I mean, you don't have to do this for everything. Maybe the final quiz or exam is going to be larger, and maybe it needs to be. But the actual way that we consume content, we need to make it bite-sized chunks now, because that's how people are learning. If they have a minute, they open their phone. Can I knock out a lesson? Yep. Okay,
yeah,
done.
You know, it's interesting, that knockout idea. I'm going through Digital Marketers HQ, and they do a really good job. The videos, I mean, some of them will go as long as 11 minutes, but a number of them are 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes. And I found myself like in the car waiting for my wife at the grocery store, and it's like, you know, I could probably knock out 2 of these things and get past it on my phone in the parking lot. And that's just so much more convenient than, okay, I got to park myself at my desk and I've got to carve out an hour and a half, and who's got an hour and a half, right? Yeah, that's so true. That's a perfect example. So I think we're going to see that kind of start to take off this year, and definitely in 2018, maybe, you know, a year from now or a little bit over a year from now, it's going to be, you know, everybody's going to be marching to that beat and saying, oh, you have to have micro content. So I'm calling it now. Yeah. Well, and you know, the thing too is that almost sounds like the way blogs work. It's just that blogs are kind of random, you know, that the topic isn't consistent. But if it was a series of blogs, it's almost like you could video blog, and now it's a micro content.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so note to self: I'm a big blogger. Let's see. And so other things that people ought to be thinking about.
Like people that already have courses, or people that are thinking they might want to create a course?
You know, either one. I mean, if you already have a course, I think that's ideal. But you know, what are the kind of things that newbies ought to be thinking about?
Well, certainly, whether you're trying to get into it or whether you already have a course, is thinking about ways to engage people in a, you know, a productive way to make your content living and breathing. So one thing that I find, and I'm sure you've seen it too, George, is you'll take a course or you've bought a course and the content goes stale after a time. And you know, I think for people that are selling courses, especially, it's maybe disheartening to create a course and suddenly it feels like that content's dated. But if you rely on your learners to continue that conversation, give you ideas for how to continue to improve the course or maybe update part of the course, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can repackage your course or sell it in a different way, or create 4 extra modules and upsell that, or have like a bonus course for your existing learners. So if you already have courses and you're selling it especially, think about ways that you can just piggyback off your current course to create extra courses, whether you sell them or not, or maybe give a discount to your current learners. I mean, that's how you're going to increase your revenues without having to take out a pen and paper and start from scratch all over again.
No, right. So they end up being like profit maximizers. I've already got an established audience. Can I, do you want fries with that? Can I get you a Coke too?
Yeah, and a lot of times people, it's a great if you can get that initially, but I'd say just if you're starting a course, don't even worry about it. Get your course out, make sure it's good, and then let your audience tell you what that maximizer, profit maximizer will be, because that's going to be a lot more effective than trying to guess what a good upsell would be at a later point.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Like, we do membership site consulting. And, one question we get all the time is, which themes do you recommend? And it's interesting because as a web developer, it's almost like a non-question. It's like, well, whichever one makes sense. But a lot of people, it's like, which one should I use? And we actually have a ton of information, which is like, these are the ones that have worked best for us, and here's why. And people might, I haven't put it out there, but people will buy that. And it's just something I hear a lot.
Yeah, themes are not all themes are created equal. I'll put it that way.
Right.
I think.
Well, there's some themes you want to avoid with the plague, even though they may look really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the biggest questions that even we get is from customers is, LearnDash is great. Which theme should I use?
Yeah.
And so I guess there's nothing wrong with thinking that way, but I always like to just put a little reminder that if you're creating a course, don't get caught up in the window dressings right away. Make sure the content is good.
Yeah.
And then you can, then you can get the theme and all that. Sometimes it's really easy, especially with WordPress, to go and to those shiny objects and be like, oh, wow, this is cool. Let me check out these settings. And then something doesn't work, so you're talking to support with another plugin or theme that you don't even need to worry about that yet. Just
Yeah, and I tell you what, I refer back to Digital Marketers HQ. That is the most simple design. It is trivial. It's the content that's really top notch.
Yeah, their content's always good, but that's a perfect example that the design, as long as it's functional, the UI is good, and it loads quickly, it's all about the content.
Cool. Well, hey, Justin, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate that. If people want to reach you, how would they find you or LearnDash or, some of the offers you have?
Sure. LearnDash.com is our main site. And you can find me on Twitter. It's just my handle is Justin Ferriman. And if you need to email me personally, it's justin@learndash.com.
Cool. Well, I won't publish your email, but we'll put your Twitter tag and that email and the www so that people, if they want to learn more about LearnDash, they can.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, George. It's great talking to you.
Great. It's been great having you. Have a great day.
You as well.